Right, hello guys, so welcome back to tutorial part 4. In this tutorial we're going to be adding the jobs tab and like filling it up. I've already added it. So this is what we've got so far. I just want to quickly iron out a few stuff. I put an annotation on the last episode about moving these buttons apart. I'll quickly do that now. So if we go in here, what we can do is in the CS_call sheet, which is the VGUI, we can, where it says doc margin, the last entry, we can just change that to like 4, mess around with the numbers. I did this off screen, so anyway, I think that looks quite nice. You might want it a bit closer. Another thing I want to do is in CS_F4 menu. This is the bit we're going to be editing mainly today. Pages back, I believe it was. So I just want to change the colours of these a bit. So where is it? So yeah, CSF4 menu, and then what we want to do is pages back. I'm just going to change the draw colour a bit because I want it to look a bit nice. Not pages back, I mean the separate pages. So I think they need to look nicer. Yeah, but so they should be fine for now. Yeah, so what we want to do first is we want to set pages back to a nice colour, because that will basically put a nice colour here as well, and then we can change that in a minute. So if we set pages back, what we could do is we can just do simply steal this here, put that down there, and then we can change it to like something like 75, 75. This will be like a medium grey, and then 50. So it's quite transparent. So if we look now, we'll have like a nice little colour behind there as well. And then we want to change here so it's not just this horrible, kind of colour. So I'm going to just go 75. You might think that if it will just blend in with that colour, but it won't because it's doubling up on top of it. So if you just copy 75, and I'll put it there as the thing as well. So I'm going to just copy and paste this for each thing because we don't want. I was just changing the colours to like RGB last time, so it was a bit more obvious. Look, now we go. I think that looks a bit nicer. Now you can see the difference. Also, I think the title is quite hard to see, so I'm going to use something called set expensive shadow. It's just basically a shadow. Press Ctrl D, duplicate the line, and we just do set expensive shadow. And this is basic. There's just a few entries, so this is basically puts a nice shadow behind the text, and I think it looks nicer. So first of all, it's how big the shadow is. Mine's going to be 2 pixels, and then it's the colour of the shadow. So just a simple colour. I'd recommend something just like kind of black, greyish side. This is the one I pretty much use in all mine, which is just grey, which is just full on black, 200. So it kind of blends in a nice little bit. Right, there we go. So now if we look at that, I think that title looks a lot nicer, to be fair. And yeah, so if we go back in, we've got the title done. Yeah, right, so now what we want to get doing is it's going to be moving on down to the job area. So what we do here is we're going to just get started with something called a 4kV in pairs loop. Or a KV loop, I don't know what people call it, I just call it a 4kV in pairs. So basically, to get this started, we're going to just do it right into this add pages bit, so just go down a bit and do 4, because it's a for loop, then comma, and then put K, comma, V, and then in pairs. Right, this is where, and then you put do at the end, that's kind of like a then, and then you need to end it off like an if statement as well. And then inside the pairs is where you would put what the table is. It's basically just accessing every value from a table, and we can kind of draw it out. So I think this is the right one. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But for I think it's RP_extra teams for all the DarkRP jobs. I don't know if that is the best way to get it, but that's what I've done in my example. And yeah, sticky keys. Right, so if we go here, if my computer decides to be nice. Right, so if we go here, we're going to just do, we want like a, so we want it so each job kind of has its own little background and kind of has its own little like background, then all the information sit on that. So we could just copy this simple D panel here, and this is just a way of saving time, copy and paste stuff. I'm going to call this job back, so just basically the back of the jobs. And there we go. Right, so the painting I believe should be fine. I just want to kind of make it a bit more opaque. And then dock, you don't want it to fill the entire area, we want it to kind of be like at the top, and then you scroll down. So if we put it at the top, we put top. Right, that's also just reminded me of something else, which is we need to change this. Because it's a D panel, it will basically just be kind of a D panel just going down, and if there's like about 50 jobs, you're not going to find them all, are you? Because it's just one D panel. You want to make sure you can scroll down the D panel. The D scroll panel is really useful. It's basically just the same. Save that. Look, we go back in game and click remove, and I've messed them here, lol. Right, so make sure the page is back as a D scroll panel. That's a bit of a mess up. Right, so it's the job area we want to be a scroll panel. There we go. There we go. Everybody makes errors. Right, so there we go. That's that. So you won't be able to see it, but when you have tons of jobs, you'll be able to scroll down. Right, so what was it doing? So you dock to the top, so it'll be an arrow at the top. Just duplicate that maybe a couple of times. Control D. And then we want to set the size. So when you dock into the top, the X size doesn't matter, so you just leave that as 0. When you dock into the top, all that matters is the Y size. So I'm going to set mine as 200. You could do stuff with like the screen width and stuff here. Still not showing that. I'll show you that in another episode. Right, so dock margin. So this is, we just want to put like a little edge between the back and that. You don't have to, but you probably want to. So what we want to do is I'm going to just put it as a 5 edge all around. So what's this going to do? What this is going to do is it's going to put an edge between the actual job back and the sides, as well as each job. You'll see this in a minute. So that's that. If you press Control S, I don't think you'll see anything. Oh yeah, you will. So this is just put our job back for every job there is, I believe. But I think I've messed something up. I feel like I have. I don't know. One sec. Let me. What have I done? I know I've done something. Is it because I've changed to a D-scroll panel? I believe it is. Right, what have I done? So, D-scroll panel. Yeah. Right, okay, so that should be that. We've got a job area, which is here. Fill, paint, yeah. D-scroll panel. One sec. So you've got a D-scroll panel. Yeah, then you've got job back, which we've got here. I'm just checking on my code, and yeah, that should be that. Right, and we'll just add a name to see if that's the problem. That's not actually anything on the right. So we're going to do something. This is going to just be names of each job. So we want to add this up. Local names equals vgui dot create, and then delabel. Could have copied the one from above, may as well. And then we want to put it onto the job back. So you want to parent it to this job backer. And then we could just go down and put names. We could set the text. Right, this is another little thing I need to point out. Right, let's put set text as usual. And then you don't put quotation marks because we're not putting a string in directly. So basically, if we were to load up Google, let me quickly go here. And if we do DarkRP example jobs, so when this loads, I think there should be a job here. Right, so if we look here, I believe it's right. This is called, so we can do any of these. So this is basically called name. So this entry is name here. So if we go into the code, what we can do is we can do v, which is a value for each value we want it to do v.name on the back. This is quite tough to explain. I would recommend watching a more detailed tutorial. So if you do v.name there, it will show the name on every job back of the job. So then we could do names, and the next one could just be dock it to the top, and yeah, put a space there. But duplicate it a couple of times. Next one can be dock margin. There we go, we'll just do it like probably 5 from the top, 5 from the left, 5 from the top, then 0, 0. And the next one, I believe we probably need to set the, we want to set the font, so it's not the boring gold font. I'm going to set the font to just sort of Trebuchet. This is the default font, that's why I'm using it, I'm not creating my own. So there's no point wasting time. Right, Trebuchet 24, the next one is we're going to set the text color, so we can do set text color. Going to keep this as probably a white. Remember, you need to put the color inside that as well, otherwise it causes errors. 255, 255, just do a nice white. We need one more, and this is going to be just that set expensive shadow from up here. Because I really like the set expense shadow because it actually makes it like 10 times easier to actually read the stuff. Right, there we go. So now if you save that and go in game, probably some errors, but now you've got like a little citizen text here. So I believe what I forgot to show was that. No, I've not forgotten anything, never mind. Right, so set expensive shadow, we've done that. And that should be that, yeah. So we've got job area, we've got this is basically the panel, we've got it shows the names of each job. And yeah. So I'll be right back once I've quickly sorted something out, but yeah, I'll be right back in a minute. Right, hello guys, so I'm back. I've just found a couple of errors. This is what I was looking for. So basically, I've attached this to pages, which is the call sheet, which has caused tons of errors, to a job area. That's why the scroll thing wasn't there. And also trebuchet. There we go, I spelled that wrong. That's why the text was small. So if we now go back in game, there we go, text is big, we've got the background there still. And look, this is what I want to show you. Look, now you can scroll down and see all the jobs. Now that's I quite like that. We've got all the jobs here, some nice text. That's a bit messed up. We could fix that, but it will be fine for now. Just change the font, or you could just set the size on Y. Yeah, I'll quickly do that actually. So the text we'll just do set. Remember, like I said, doc top still needs a Y set, so we do 0, and then we'll do like 10Y. Hopefully that fixes that. Or I think it might mess up the yeah, that's fucked some stuff up. Right, so we'll set it to like 20. Maybe 20. Nope, we'll do 30 then. I also don't make it too big because I think it moves it down a little bit. Yeah, 40. Is that going to move it down? I think it does, yeah. Right, I'll just leave it as it is then. Right, so now what we can do is, what we want to add is we want to make it so there's kind of like a little icon for the user to see. So what we need to do first is we're going to create something called, we're going to create like a local, there's something called a VGUI spawn icon. What we could do is just copy that, save time. So we want to do local, and then we'll call this models, and then this is, it's called a spawn icon. That is the icon of the item. Attach the job back, we go down, do models as usual. Then we dock it. We want to dock it to the left, so it's just kind of underneath that text created. Duplicate that like 2 times. Then we want to set the size to 150 by 50. I'm going to say, and then we want to. This one will be the dock margin, so there's a bit between the sides. Then we do 5.5, then 5, then 5. Right, so now I've got a little dock margin, and then now we need to set the model, and we want to, yeah, it should just be set model. Set model. This will be the model it will display, and then this is where I need to do something else, but we'll do it for now. Then it will be v.model 1. This is basically going to get the first, because you know how some jobs, I don't know if I've got it on here, but basically some jobs will have multiple entries in this model section. So you see how we're doing v.model again for this v.model here. So it's accessing the model of that specific team. So yeah, v.model sometimes will have multiple models. So if we were to save it, I believe, save it, that won't work on most of them, I don't think. Look, it'll work on some of them, but then most of them just comes up with errors. The reason why it does that is because not all of them are, not all the, as you see, the model isn't a table, so there's not multiple models, so we can't access it as if it is a table by putting the entry of 1. So to fix that, we just need to do a simple v.model. But how do we differentiate between, because if we do this now, so it's just v.model, just getting a singular model, then we get errors. Yeah, we get errors because it's trying to get a v.model. It returns a table basically. So to fix this, what we can do is we can do an if statement. So if we tab that forward, and then what we can do is put an if statement around it. If there's just space saying if it's a valid model, so is valid model, and then it's saying v.model, and then 1, and then close. Then we put then. And then now we're going to need an else here and an end. So it's basically saying if v.model 1 is valid, then draw it as v.model 1. But then if it's not, we want it to basically just draw it as if it's a single model. So it's basically saying if a table for model 1 exists, then if the models are a table, then get the first entry in that table. If it's not, just do that as a simple one. So now I've got that. If we go back into game, it'll be a bit messed up, so I'll just quickly reload. So basically what we've done here is we're basically saying if the first entry in the table is valid, so basically saying if it is a table, if the models are a table, and then just use the first entry. Then if not, just use the normal model. Right, so if we were to look on here, what we can also get is we can display any of these on the actual page. So we can display the model, display description, display even the weapons the person gets. And this command is going to be very useful. Then we can show the max amount, the salary, if it's admin, if it has vote, as license. This will just be v dot before any of those. Right, so now in game, now look, now all the models are here underneath the nice text. So now we need to make it so the user can actually kind of see what the job's about. So we can access that by v.description. So just close that, we don't need that now. So what I want to do is under this, you want to create a new one called local. Just wants to be a panel because we want this just basically needs to be a back for the description, otherwise it's kind of going to be going over everywhere. So I'm going to call it des back. And then what we want to do is we want to call it just a D panel, job, not job area, job back. And then we want to just copy that and then replace all these ones. And then what we're going to do is want it to fill the rest of the space that is ready. We want to set the Y to around 150 because that's 3/4 of the actual Y of the whole back. Margin should be fine, that should be fine. Now if we look here, I believe, look, now we have a little area, it's 5 between the sides and it's about 3/4 I think. Oh no, I forgot how high we made it. So now if we go on des back, and I think that doesn't matter, but Y doesn't matter when it's on fill. Anyway, now what we want to do is we want to do local, not that. If we get the names on, this should speed up a little bit. So we want to just do a local, we'll call it description. This will actually be the description. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Description, right. So first of all, we can get rid of the expensive shadow because that looks a bit weird. I'll keep on actually, and then I'll show you the difference. This is just going to be v.description. I think that's spelled right. Then we want to dock it to the top of the little description box. So obviously we need to change that to des back. Des back, so that parent it to her and dock it to the top of that, and then we can just put the dock margin as 5, so it's 5 away from all the sides. And then the set size, if we do it, we need to do a set size on this. Set size, I'll do this in a minute because there's something else I want to do this. Want to make a bit smaller because it's a lot of text, so there's another default called Trebuchet 18, we'll just use that. And now what we want to do is we want to set the size. So what we want to do this, I believe we did it somewhere up here, I don't know. Yeah, it's this. We could just copy this as surface.set font and the get font size stuff. This basically just gets the area of the how much area the text actually takes up. So we want it to get the area of v.description here. So we'll just put that in there, and we're not using Dermalage, we're using Trebuchet 18, and we'll call it des x and des y. So now what we could put is in size, we could just put des x and des y. There we go. So that should be a description now. So if we press S, we save. Now what you should see is a nice description here. So look, that's what it looks. So we've got a massive area for the description here. You see it shows the description, Trebuchet 18, we've got a nice little back. You might not want that back. If we remove the back, which you can comment stuff out with 2 of those, I forgot what they're called. Anyway, right, so now that's what it looks like there. I'm going to keep mine as, I want to, does that look nice? No, I'm going to take that away. Delete the line wholly, your choice. Also, one thing I wanted to quickly remove was these little icons on the side. I don't really like those. If you don't like them, I think I told you, but you can just remove them by removing that part. I don't really like them. I think it makes them look a bit kind of, doesn't make the menu look very new, makes it look quite old. There we go, remove those. Okay, I think that's just might need a reload. Right, so now what we want to do is we want to add the buttons, because there's no use just showing the person what jobs they could be, you know, you want to allow them to be them. So people can technically be a job without kind of, you know, having to use an F4 menu, because how DarkRP works is it will use a command. So basically this means that anything can be done, the F4 menu can be created on client side without having to use net messages, which basically communicate between server and client. So what we can do is we can just make the user say the command to become the job. So we just want to create a button. We already have a close button up here, so I don't want to take this close button. I'm just doing this so we can speed up time. You may want to create it from scratch. It is quite useful to create it from scratch because it kind of jogs your memory. So I'll call it change button because it's the button they click to change. Change all that. You can delete that part there as well. That should be all fine. Then we want to set the text to just something like become job or take, I don't know. So we're not going to use any set paths, we're going to use dock. So we want to dock it to the bottom of the back panel. We can Control D to duplicate that. We want a dock margin. We just want a simple 555 on each side. Do dock margin, take from there. Got 555 on each side. Paint should be fine, right? This is a little bit here. This is really simple. I'm going to use a thing called run console command. This can be used on client and just basically just any console command that can be used in here, so like kill, so it can do anything like that. So we could just put kill in here, but what we want to do is this is how you would do it in game. So if I do in game, if I do like say hello, I believe. Hi. Yeah, look, my character says hello in chat. So what we can do is we could do say, and then we want to put comma because we want to put that base signifies as kind of like a little space between the parts. Then you put a slash, and then you put a dot to separate that part. So this space is going to be a slash, and then we want to put the entry in the table, so it's v.command. So that's the command, so it's just v.command because every job has a custom command if you create the jobs properly. So remove, and I've not parented that properly. So it should be, what is it, job back, isn't it? Yeah, job back. There we go. So now if we remove this menu, look, the description is nice up there, and every job's a little become job. However, if it looks nice, so it's become job. Click on it, and you become the job. So it's getting the character to say the command. Then it says you need to wait another 7 seconds as usual. So I believe there's one for hover. If we try /hover, look, that does it. So everything uses a command. So yeah, so that's this basically the jobs menu filled out. Next one we'll be working on the shop, and then we'll get into commands. Commands will require another file to create. Shop should be fine. So basically you guys can add whatever you want here. You can add, make so it shows the salary. Obviously this is very untidy, I've left it so like things overlap, you don't want that. And I've also not fit it to resolutions. We'll do that at the end once we've created everything. So what have we done today? We've done the set expense shadow, made the title look nice. We've added all the jobs, and we've changed some of the backgrounds. Right, so next episode we'll be working on the shop panel. Thanks for watching. Sorry this has been a long episode, and have a good day, guys. Bye.